Okay. Looks like we got Facebook going. Looks like we got Zoom under control. I'm hitting the tablet here for reference purposes so that I can see, because I've got the camera flip-flop so the logo is straight on the Facebook world. Oh my goodness, it's starting to feel like we're just a bunch of professionals, but you know. All right. Well, good morning, everybody. Ivan here. Hope you're having a great day. Happy to have you all here. Got a big day scheduled, and we're going to go through some of the standard stuff we always do. We're going to get into what I think is a very exciting conversation, a very important program, very significant content. I love that on Zoom we got people introducing themselves to each other and welcoming people into the group. Do we have any first-timers here, whether you're on Zoom or whether you're up on Facebook? Do we got anybody here for whom this is a first-time visit, a first-time experience here for an Ivan Zoot class? I think we may have a few, because shaving is a topic of great interest to a lot of people. Very specific in the barber world, very hot with the crossover folk. Good morning, Edna. Good to have you here. Nice to see you checking in. And, you know, I want to acknowledge something. Edna just checked in this morning. Edna's an educator, I believe out on the East Coast, and we've been doing these programs now for a few weeks, and as I was preparing for the program this morning, Kimmy's a first-timer. Welcome in, Kimmy. Thank you for stepping up and acknowledging that. Something kind of dawned on me this morning as I was planning this out, and that was, I am not a cosmetology or barber school instructor. I do not work in a cosmetology or barber school. I'm the quick hit guy. And what I mean by that is most people's exposure to me is very brief. You've watched a YouTube video. You've had a conversation with me on the floor at a trade show. Maybe you sat in a class. Maybe that class was an hour in a breakout room in a convention center at an event. Maybe I came to your school and did a 1-hour presentation. Or on the big picture end of things, maybe, just maybe, you had showed up and participated in a hands-on workshop with me, which at a trade show, a hands-on workshop, that might be 2.5 hours of Ivan time. And that's extremely rare. I don't do a lot of those hands-ons. You know, maybe I visited your shop and spent a few hours with you, but that's about all the Ivan that anybody typically gets. And if you talk to my wife, she might tell you that's about all the Ivan anybody really wants. But what I'm feeling here is this. There's a lot of names that fly by, especially in Zoom chat. Here's Pierre again. I see that name, Pierre Wilkerson. You know, and I don't want to single anybody out, and I just did, Pierre, but that's okay. I don't want to single anybody out, and I don't want to skip anybody. But there's a whole lot of people here who've been here very regularly and very consistently, and have been here hour after hour doing 2-a-days with me. And, you know, I think there's some people here within our community that we've created online that have had more Ivan education than anybody's ever had. And you keep coming back for more, and I'm extremely honored and privileged that that's the case. I'm extremely honored and privileged people want to come back and get a little more of that. And it's kind of cool because in some ways, you know, David just commented. David's one of the, again, I don't want to single people out, but David's been here again and again and again. And I also want to acknowledge that David has been commenting. David's been asking questions. Not necessarily challenging me, but digging deep, and I want to recognize that. And there's many other names I could throw out that I'm starting to get familiar with, and really, I'm excited about the fact, Michael from down in Daytona, glad to have you again, another name, another face. Michael I've met, Michael I know. But I'm really hoping that there will come a time, there will come a place, there will come an opportunity when we can do this in a room together somewhere, at a trade show, visiting your schools or something like that, to kind of close the circle on this, because it's been really enjoyable for me. I'm having a great time. I'm going to be back tomorrow. I'm going to be back next week. Thank you. The wonderful compliments coming in here. Donnell, Good to see you back again as well. But this morning I was struck by the fact that there's some people out there that are getting, a real bigger dose of kind of my take on our industry, and I'm honored by that. People buy books, that's cool. I appreciate it. Showing up here, that's awesome. So, big day. Big day brought to us by our friends at Jatai Academy. Very Jatai specific today. We're going to get into face shaving. And obviously, as the manufacturer, not the manufacturer, Jatai is the importer, distributor of feather razors and blades. Really I won't call them the Cadillac. They're the Rolls Royce of shaving tools and shaving blades and things in our industry. A level of quality, a level of craftsmanship, that is beyond compare, really. So we're going to get into this shaving conversation in just a few moments. Remember, go to my link on my Instagram and register with Jatai to get your coupon code. And don't forget the Barbicide documents. These are becoming very, very relevant very, very rapidly as states begin to, in a rolling sort of fashion, open up various aspects of their economies, and especially the beauty and barber aspect of so many of these economies. So free download documents, barbicide.com, or at my page. You can get a hold of those so that you know what you need to know. Reminder, excuse me, 11 o'clock today, second class today, is Saving Systems. Really a class that was created, brought up, thought up, and put together in response to some of what has gone on with coronavirus and the lockout in the industry. We'll get all into great detail on that in the 11 o'clock hour, but come back for that. Again, another brand new program that I have not presented yet. April 30, day 120, with 245 days remaining in the year. Offer free Wi-Fi. Free Wi-Fi has a nice benefits for clients in your waiting room. It's a nice benefit for your team, your employees too. If you expect team members to use social media for building business, you should support it with free Wi-Fi. Have the Wi-Fi locked with a code and post the code on the wall prominently for clients to access your your free Wi-Fi. This costs very little to offer, and it's just another way to easily provide value to your tribe. Free Wi-Fi. America's lagging behind the rest of the world in free Wi-Fi. If you travel outside the United States of America, as I have, you find free Wi-Fi in parks and public plazas and in all kinds of public spaces. I had a long-running feud with the Chicago Department of Aviation and O'Hare International Airport for a long time. I was traveling every week. And I was going to little towns in Columbia, South Carolina, and the airport has free Wi-Fi. And then I come to Chicago, O'Hare, the world's busiest airport, and they want you to pay for Wi-Fi. There was a while there where I had a Boingo account because I spent time at O'Hare. I wanted internet. I had to pay for it. To me, that was crazy. So I was in a Twitter feud with the Chicago Department of Aviation that runs the airport and with O'Hare Airport. And I'm happy to tell you, a few years ago, O'Hare went to free Wi-Fi. Now, coincidental to this, I did read an article on the web the other day about the fact that apparently Elon Musk, you know him, made his fortune with PayPal, and he's the Tesla guy. Elon Musk is working on a proposal for some low Earth orbit satellites, I guess, that will provide free Wi-Fi to the whole world. I thought that was a really cool article. And it's just like that guy, wicked smart guy, to do so. I didn't read the whole thing. I don't know all about it. But this guy, Evan says Starlink. I'm not sure what you're referring to, if that's the thing. I don't remember the details on it. But I just remember that it's like Elon Musk is going to bring the world free Wi-Fi everywhere, which just blows my mind. But free Wi-Fi is becoming sort of a human right, if you will. In many ways. So that's the $100,000 haircut or tip of the day. It's about offering that free Wi-Fi within your business. And there's going to come a time when that tip is going to become clearly wildly outdated. Because if Uncle Elon is giving us all free Wi-Fi, Uncle Barbershop doesn't need to. Somebody else threw out a date for another reading. Let's see. Athulia. Mentioned December 16th, so let's go there. We always do a second reading. December 16. Getting close to my birthday. Not quite yet, but December 16, we're getting in the neighborhood. December 16, day 350. Now, I just spotted this when I turned to it. I wrote it. It's me. Please don't send me emails. Please don't send me emails. Okay? December 16, day 350. 15 days remaining in the year. Pass down gently used tools. New tools are fun. New tools are necessary. Tools in our business generally are not vastly expensive. Busy haircutters like to treat themselves to new tools from time to time. I'm kind of a clipper junkie. I'm a scissor junkie. I'm a tool junkie in this business. In many cases, your retired old tools still have plenty of good haircuts in them. Pass these gently used moneymakers along to new team members or to students. Schools and underserved communities will appreciate the support as well. Having a giveaway box in the back room of a few times a year and taking this box down to the barber college is a great give back for future professionals in our business. You'll feel good about it, and they will feel like it's Christmas early, because this is December 16, just before Christmas. So, sharing and passing along gently used tools. I want you guys to know I've done this my entire career. I have done this as long as I have been in the business, especially in my years and days with Andis, because I got so many free tools. I would get to the point that if the logo on the top of the clipper had a scratch, well, I can't use it for videos and things. Give it away to a student, give it away to a rookie, give it away to a newbie. I've done this for many, many years. So don't email me asking for my tools. I've been doing this all along. And at some point, at some time, if I cross paths with you, I just might give you a free clipper or a free trimmer or a comb or something. This stuff doesn't do anybody any good sitting in a box in the back room, sitting in the basement. Put it out there. Give it out there. All of us have these tools and these opportunities. And you know, recently this year, a guy passed away by the name of Michael Baker. He was out of New Orleans, Louisiana, heavily involved in the beauty industry educationally. He was one of these legends in the business. He was tied to the Aveda World and that organization. Michael Baker had started something called the Secondhand Scissor Project. And the Secondhand Scissor Project was all about passing tools down to the next generation. And it came out of a story he had told about the fact that one of his bosses, one of his mentors, had given him a hairbrush. And it felt as though that hairbrush had some kind of history. It had some kind of mojo. It had, you know, he's from Louisiana. It had a little bit of voodoo maybe, but it had some kind of magic associated with it. That when that brush was passed down to him by a mentor, that brush came with experience, and that brush came with a certain sort of instilled foundation, if you will. I'm not even sure how to describe what I'm talking about here. I donated scissors to him for the Secondhand Scissor Project, which were then donated to new people in the business. And his legacy, hopefully that program will carry on. Again, he passed away earlier this year. But I've always felt a kinship with that concept or that idea that inspiring the next generation in this way, not only with information and education, but with the passing down of some of these tools. I mean, if this blending scissors could talk, this blending scissors I've had for over 30 years. There's nothing wrong with it. It's perfectly good. I'm going to keep using it. But at some point, this blending scissors will wind up in the hands of a young person in our industry. Whether I give it to somebody or whether my kids give it to somebody. Roger, yeah, Old Time Barber gave you a neck duster. There's a level of magic there that's hard to wrap our head around. And I think this is a great segue. I'm not just, going off on a tangent here, guys, because we're going to talk about shaving. Let's get into our program. And shaving is such a legacy act in our industry. And thank you. That December 16th pick was just magical. I didn't plan it. You threw the date out, this notion of passing tools on. I cannot tell you how many times, probably 24, that I have visited a barber shop, spoken with an older gentleman who, at some point in our conversation, said, hang on a minute. And he went in the back room, or he rattled around in a drawer, and out of the drawer came an old straight razor. I have a box of them here. And he gave it to me. And this happened many, many times. Many barbers did this. They would give me an old straight razor. Number one, they're not using them anymore. Today, we do not use a traditional hone and strop straight razor. Your barber education might include education in how to hone and strop. That's great. Old school, traditional, you should know it. You need to know it. It's good to know it. But you really should never be doing it, because you should never be using a traditional hone and strop razor. Every razor you should ever use today on a client should and would always have a disposable blade cartridge of some kind. The hone and strop razor is just no longer safe. It's just from a sanitation and infection control standpoint, and never has that been more of an issue and more prevalent than it is today under the coronavirus circumstances. But number one, this old man would give me a razor because he can't use it anymore, and he knows it. Number two, he would give it to me because it meant a great deal to him. And number three, and he would always say something like, have this because you understand and appreciate it. I want you to have this because my kids don't get it. You know, my son's a doctor, my other one sells used cars. It really has at its core some incredible traditions. The earliest barbers in history, known to be the Egyptians, were shaving. Barba, chin, from removing hair from the face. You know, barbering wasn't about haircuts. We were shaving heads back then. Barbers were shaving heads back then with amazing tools, some of which, because of the Egyptian funeral practices, some of these old razors have been found in pyramids and tombs and things like that. Razor shaving and history is just this rich category to be explored and to be understood. By the way, before shaving it, they were plucking. I mean, imagine having your entire beard tweezered. I mean, you know, that just, I can't even imagine what that experience must have been like, and I don't want to enjoy that experience. So shaving is such an ingrained part of our history. In our history class, we talked about the fact that in the 1880s through the 1930s, what was regarded as the golden age of our industry, barbers generated 85% of their money. 85% of their revenue came from the act of shaving. Haircuts were secondary. All right, it looks like the feed just dropped over on Zoom. It happens. For those of you in Facebook land, stick around. We're going to be right back. I hate when this happens. It's such a speed bump in the program. But patience. Facebook land. Let me check on comments and things. There's a few comments in Facebook. Let's see what we got. Maybe this is someone telling me it's going to barber school. Tools. That's a great comment. Alexa, yeah, that's funny. Maybe this is your way of getting a message. Green Bay Empire checking in the house. Green Bay, Wisconsin, good to have you here. Tyler says, once you answer my comment, I'm a believer. All right, Tyler, I'm answering your comment. You're a believer. I'm good to have you. We're a little town. Zane Ward says, Columbia. That's Zane from Columbia, South Carolina. Absolutely. Do you believe things like shavings will change or go away after reopening with the pandemic? Thomas, that's a good question. We're going to get there in just a second as soon as we get back up on Zoomer. Hang on. Patience, crew. We're getting there. One, two, three, click, open. Patience. We're getting there. We're almost there. It's happening soon. Okie and dokie. All right, Zoom world, my apologies. I am back. As you know, from time to time, the feed drops like that. Especially, it seems, during the day when everybody in the world is involved in a Zoom meeting. We get a little bit of instability off Zoom's platform. My apologies for that, but we are back. Time catching from the very beginning. All right. I'm just checking in on all the comments coming in. We got a healthy comment stream going on. I just can't stop watching Ivan. Awesome. Thank you, Facebook world. All right. So we're getting into shaving. The first thing I want to talk about with regards to shaving, and it came up in a question on Facebook, is, and I want to address the question, should we even be doing shaving now? And I think the answer, in the immediate follow-up to lockout, when we first go back, I think the answer is no. I think we should not be offering face shaving services. In many instances, haircut clients are going to be coming in wearing masks. I don't think we should be face shaving. I don't think we should be beard trimming. As we look to catch up on the backlog of haircuts, as we look to serve this pool of customers, I think we should be focusing exclusively on haircuts. And I think we should be focusing on staying away from somebody right here in their face. So for the short term, I don't think we should be shaving. I think we'll get back to it. I think we can get back to it, but I don't think we're there yet. Certainly not for the states like Georgia that have opened up barbershops and hair salons in phase one. I think the risks are too high. The opportunity for spreading and contracting and doing these things is just too high. So I want to address that first. I don't think we should be shaving. I think that's a no. But I think we should be learning it. I think we should be talking about it. I think we should be focused on it. Number one. Number two, I think we need to address the sanitation aspects of shaving. I already began to touch upon the notion of disposable blades and cartridges, where you are removing blades from razors and disposing of the blade every single client every time. I also think we need to talk about sharps bins. A sharps bin that you put blades in does not belong in the back room. A sharps bin does not belong in the dispensary. A sharps bin, and there should be one on every single station, belongs in visual range of the customer. We should see sharps bins. If I look around a room, if there are 10 styling stations, and you'll be working every other station to be 6 feet apart, if there are 10 styling stations, you should be using every other station in order to maintain social distance. But you should have a sharps bin on every station. And the rule has always been, at least in Illinois where I live, the blade must be changed, quote, in visual range of the customer, which means if I don't see you change the blade, you didn't change the blade. So what we do is we position the chair so they can see the counter, and we swap out the blade in front of them. Now, if we swapped out the blade, if we threw the blade away at the end of the last shave, the handle contains no blade. The customer should then see us with our blade cartridge, whatever blade cartridge it is you use, they should see us go to the cartridge, extract the blade, and insert that blade into our handle. They should witness that happening. And the rule in Illinois is if the customer says, whoa, did you change that blade? You got to do it again. You can't just say, yes, I changed it. You literally have to take the blade out of the razor, throw it in the sharps bin. Even if it's a brand new blade, you cannot use it. And you got to do it again. You got to go back to the cartridge. You got to pull a fresh blade. You got to swap the blade so they can see it. That's so extraordinarily important. So sanitation is a big issue. Towels. Whether we're using a towel cabinet or using hot water from the sink for steam towels, that laundry's got to be kept in a closed container. That soiled laundry's got to go into a closed bin. These things are basics. These things are serious basics, but we have to be hyper vigilant about adhering to these things when we get into this whole shaving conversation. It is more important than you would ever know. Other aspects of sanitation as it relates to shaving. If you are using jars of shaved product, now this is a hairstyling wax puck. If you're using jars, you know, in my shop, I'll put my finger in my jar. That's my jar. In my bathroom at home, I can put my finger in my jar. But a jar like this that is being used in a barbershop or hair salon situation should never have a finger in it. There should be a container of popsicle sticks. You can get a bag of 1,000 popsicle sticks at the craft store for $3. They cost nothing. and have them there. Take a popsicle stick out, use it to remove product from the jar, shave creams, paste, wax, pomade, moisturizers. Fingers should never go in these containers. And I think it's even more important in the shave conversation. Now your hands are clean, you've washed your hands, clients see you washing your hands as a part of that shave service. You go to the jar, you take your popsicle stick, you take your product out, you can then put it in your hand. The popsicle stick goes in the garbage can, and now you're going to apply that shave cream or work with it, but no fingers in jars. So I think a lot of these sanitation issues are ones that we need to revisit in general, certainly in coronavirus world. The next thing I want to talk about before we shave is pricing economics. And I have believed for a very long time that unless shaving is priced properly, it's not worth doing. And I'm going to say that again. Unless shaving is priced, Patrice says, in Cos we break the pop sticks in half. Well, now you're being economical. Okay, that popsicle stick cost you 1/900th of a penny. And in Pierre's class, or Patrice's class, I'm sorry, it cost you 1/1800th of a penny because you cut them in half. Great idea. We got to save everywhere we can, guys. Money's money. It is what it is. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you. All right. Pricing and economics. Unless shaving is priced properly, I do not think we should be doing it. And let me explain what I mean by that. If you do a haircut and you charge $20 for a haircut, I'm just making up numbers, and it takes you 20 minutes, that's $1 a minute, and you can do 3 haircuts an hour. $60 an hour in hourly productivity. But if you do a shave service for $20 and it takes you half an hour, that's $20 and a half an hour. That is $40 an hour in hourly productivity. Now, based on that math, I want to point out, when you did a shave service, you didn't make $20. I mean, you made $20, but you lost $10. It cost you $10 to deliver that shave. As your occupancy climbs and as you get busier, you have to be conscious of the amount of time you spend on services and what the true value of your time is in what we call units of production, units of capability. I only get 8 hours. Within 8 hours, I have 4 15-minute units. I can use 2 units, half an hour, to cut hair, or I can use 3 units, 45 minutes, to do a shave. How much am I generating in dollars per unit? And I think this is how we have to think about it. And my point here is, unless shaving is priced properly, it's non-productive activity. So let's explore this. If a haircut takes you 20 minutes and it's $20 and you're generating $60 an hour in hourly productivity, great. But if a shave takes you 30, a shave has to cost $30. It has to cost more money because it has to keep you to the $60 an hour in hourly productivity in that scenario. Your numbers may be different, but give me a thumbs up if you're with me on the concept, on the idea that we need to be conscious of the productivity of the things that we're doing. This is my argument for not doing children's discounts. If an adult haircut is $20 in 20 minutes and a children's haircut is $15 in 20 minutes, every time you cut a kid, you lose $5. Really. Think about it. Every time you shave somebody, if your shave price isn't high enough, so really my message here is not don't shave. Please understand. Once we get past Corona and it's safe to do it, my message is not don't shave. My message is shave at a higher price. Charge more for this. And it's harder to find. You know, there are shops that choose not to do this. There's a barber shop in my community that I've been in from time to time. They have a sign on the wall. Big sign on the wall. It's white with black lettering. It's got a skull and crossbones on it, and it says, "No shaving here." They don't do necklines, they don't do sideburns, they don't do ear areas with the razor on a haircut, and they don't face shave. And that has to do with issues of bloodborne contamination. In a lot of places in our country, shaving vanished. Poof, it was gone in the late 1980s when AIDS was the big conversation and everybody was freaking out, worried, and concerned about that. A lot of the barber industry literally woke up one day and just said, we're not doing that anymore. We're not taking the risk. We're out. So that's a little bit on pricing and economics. I got that mic muted, Scott. I was on it. Johnny on the spot. Rocket ship, dude. Thank you for being on top of it with me. So that's pricing and economics as it relates to shaving. Consultation. I think shave consultation is extremely important. I think we need to start talking before we start shaving. It's probably the same with haircuts, too. You probably agree with that. But with regards to shave consultation, I think there's some questions we need to ask. Anybody older than me, I'm the kind of the dividing line. Anybody older than me, when somebody presents themselves for a shave, one of the first questions you got to ask is, are you on any form of blood thinning medication? Are you on any form of blood thinning medication? Because at that point, they immediately enter the no-fly zone. You are not getting shaved. The answer is absolutely no. There's no debate. There's no argument. You might want to take their beard down with a clipper. You might want to run over them with a foil shaver. But that's it. No blade at all. No neckline, no sideburns, no nothing. And there's no debate. That's unequivocal. That's a no. Next questions to ask. Have you ever had a shave in a barber shop before? I think that's an important question because we're getting into client expectations for the service experience. Have you ever had a shave in a barber shop before? Yes or no? If the answer is no, we've got to give them a little bit of an idea of what to expect. We're going to give them an overview of the steps, the hot towel process, the lathering, the removing of the lather, the shaving. We want to have a conversation about irritation. That's going to lead us into a blade choice conversation in just one moment. If they've had a shave before, I always ask the question of, what was that experience like for you? Tell me about it. And the reason I ask that question is I want to gain some insight into their experience with shaving because I'm curious to know, as a shaving customer in the past, what are they going to tell me? Are they going to tell me, oh, wow, that was the smoothest, cleanest, closest shave I ever had? Or are they going to tell me, oh, wow, what an amazing, relaxing, enjoyable experience? Those are two very different answers, and those two answers tell me a lot about where they're coming from and the mindset that they're bringing to the shave conversation. These are some deep questions. Tell me a little bit about your shave experience, if you had one in the past. If a client says, oh my God, that was the closest, cleanest shave I've ever had, right away that's going to bring into question some of their home shaving habits and things like that, because today, with modern blades and things like that, you know, Gillette's got a razor now. I think it's got 26 individual blades. It looks like a window blind. I mean, I don't know what's out there in terms of some of those tools, but man, if you're doing it right at home, you can shave closer and cleaner than a barber can. Really. I mean, let's be honest. If the purpose is getting hair off your face, just do this in the bathroom at home. I think the real value in shaving is the experience, the experiential nature of the shave service. Yeah, I'm going to get the hair off your face, and yeah, I'm going to do a nice job, and yeah, you're going to be smooth, and you're going to, oh, wow, that's really nice. I'm not going to fool myself or you into believing that I'm going to shave you closer than you do at home on your own, if you're doing it well with good tools, and you know how, and the key, shaving is all about, guys, razor technique is only a small piece of shaving. Shaving is more about skin prep. Shaving is more about preparing the surface. Shaving is more about skin tension than it is the razor blade. I say all the time, when you are shaving, more shaving is happening in this hand than in this hand. Because this hand is really driving the bus. Where you're putting your hand, how you're getting the necessary tension, how you're holding your fingers, what you're doing with their nose. Those are the keys to shaving. Have you ever had a shave before? What was your experience with that? What'd you think of it? What was it all about? Have those conversations. As part of that, we're going to have the blade conversation, and I want to go a little jatai with you here because we're going to be using an Artist Club razor. This is their wood handle Artist Club. I also have the plastic handle. I also love, I don't have it, it's at the shop. I love my Japanese style handle. The Japanese razor, it looks like a butter knife. It doesn't have the folding handle on it. Boy, I can whip that thing, and it's so nice, and it feels so good to shave with. Go get your coupon code. Go online. They're not cheap, but they're worth every penny. Go get a feather. I like the SS version. Artist Club, Japanese handle. It's got the rubber grippy handle. Shaving razor. Boy, what a joy that thing is to shave. But we've got some blades. We've got some different blades that are available to us, and I want to run you through that blade conversation. The standard blade, that's what they call a blade. It's called standard. 20 in a box. They come in the little cartridges like this. This one's ProGuard, so it only has 15. But standard, that's your all-around general standard blade. Now we also have super. Your super blade is thicker, stronger, heavier, it's got less flex to it, and it has more blade exposure, meaning there's a greater amount of blade extending out of the razor head, out of the handle. That's your super. That's thick, coarse, heavy hair. That's a guy with like leather skin that you can really, I mean, this is a guy you could shave him with a shovel and scrape the hair off his face. Then we've got light. Also 20 in a pack. Light blades are lighter. They're thinner, they're finer, they've got a little more blade flex, and when they're in the handle, they have less blade exposure. There's not a lot of blade hanging out of the razor. This is for finer hair. Very fine, sparse hair textures. You get a guy, you can see through everything, doesn't have much beard. You know, we're not talking thick and heavy, coarse beard. Boy, you can peel fine hair off somebody's face just by waving the blade near them. You barely need to touch them. You just gotta get kind of in the neighborhood. And I mean, those guys are so easy to shave, especially if he's a big boy. You get a big boy with sparse hair, with a really round face where he has no chin and no jawline. Guys, this is like shaving a basketball. I mean, you just smoothly cruise across this surface. And it's, I mean, I gotta tell you guys, it's fun. It's like shoveling the driveway. It's so easy to do and enjoyable. So that's your light blade. The next two are our guarded blades, and I gotta be honest with you guys. What about ladies that want baby hair off their face? I gotta tell you, 33 years in the business, I have never face shaved a woman. There are some women that use depilatory creams. There are some women that use hair bleaching, mustache bleach and things like that. There are some women out there who do shave. I, as a barber, have never been asked to do that. I'm not sure how I would feel about that. I mean, I would do it. Their money is green. I would do it. But, you know, hair that grows is very different from hair that is shaved in terms of having the blunt end that is stubbly. I might want to send that woman to waxing and be waxing that off instead of shaving that. But it doesn't mean you can't do it. These are my blades, guys. These are my blades right here. I'm a ProGuard guy. I love the Feather ProGuard blades. They feature the wire wrapping that makes it almost impossible to cut you or the customer. The ProGuard, this one, is a standard blade with the over wire wrap. The Soft Guard blade, the best way I can describe it, it's like the Feather, excuse me, it's like the Feather Light with the ProGuard guard, but the guard is even a little bit different. When you look at it, it's distinctly different in terms of what it looks like. Lisa, love those basketballs, absolutely. Blade selection is really part of consultation. Lisa's question, can Cosmo shave faces with ProGuards? That's a state-by-state issue. And the answer is yes, there are some states in which a Cosmo with a guarded blade can face shave. My understanding is sideburns, ear areas, and necklines, a Cosmo with a guarded blade is 50 state legal everywhere. But the face shaving itself with a ProGuard is more of a state-by-state thing. Where I live in Illinois, Go for it. Totally good, totally okay. You need to check with your state board. You need to confirm that question within your scope and jurisdiction. And by the way, on the subject of sanitation and safety, we talked about these before. If you don't own these, everybody needs to own these. These are really cool. These are styptic matches. I think if you're gonna have a shaving conversation, you gotta be protecting yourself and your customers. You gotta have styptic. Styptic pencils are home use only. They are wildly not okay. They should be illegal. A lot of places, if you have a styptic pencil in a barber shop, they're going to give you a citation. They're going to give you a fine because you cannot clean them. And as soon as you wet them and touch them or tap them, you have infected the thing. It's gross. Styptic matches like these, they look like book matches. And literally what you do is you tear out a match, you wet it under a faucet or with your spray bottle, and you tap it on a bleeder. It immediately stops the bleeding, and then you dispose of it in your sharps bin. You throw it in the sharps bin, and it's gone. Disposable, single use, one time, 1,000% sanitary, and they come like a little matchbook of 20. I have them on my website. You can use your coupon code, Stay Home 20 right there. You can use your coupon code and get your 20% off. It's a 3-pack, 3 little boxes in a package. Very inexpensive. Yeah, anemic grandpa loves these. Of course he does. Yeah, and by the way, guys, retail item. Not just for the barber to use at their station. Retail item. Put these on the front counter. You don't buy styptic when you need it. You buy styptic before you need it. Put these on your counter. I got special bulk pricing for anybody that wants to buy them for retail. Just reach out to me with a message. Contact me and we'll talk about it. All right. Let's get to shaving. Let me get my client out here, and let's get to shaving. Now, I've got my mannequin, and I got him marked off with our 14-stroke pattern. You guys are familiar with this. Refer to your book. Know what's going on here. But I want to take you through my take. Now, I'm going to deviate from the book. Those of you that are in barber school don't necessarily want to follow what I'm saying directly and exclusively 100%. Some of you will recognize that some of what I'm going to share is not consistent with the book. I shave and cut hair in this magical land called the real world, on real people, where we take our basic knowledge and information, we take what we've been given, and we adapt it to our circumstances. We've done our consultation. It's time to shave. The first thing I always do is I take them down with a clipper. There's no point in hacking through a forest. There's no point in plowing down thick, heavy trees. I take a clipper in the 000 position, and I take off their entire beard and mustache, and I clean up everything I'm going to shave with a clipper. It's the first thing I always do. Get it down, because the less there is on his face to work with, the easier this job is going to be. The next thing I do is I go over it again with my trimmer. Do you always do a shave-in licensure, or is it state to state? I'm not sure I understand, Nicholas, exactly what you're asking. Please rephrase that question. The next thing I do is I take them down with a trimmer. I go over it again. It was 000. Now I take them down with a trimmer. I take everything down with a trimmer. And I'm going to brush them off. I'm going to wipe them off with a towel. I'm going to get them down with a trimmer. Ready for step 3? The third thing I do is I take them down with my foil shaver. I don't have a foil shaver down here. I got one upstairs. I got one at the shop. I don't have one down here to demo with, but I happen to like the best foil shaver out there is the RPG from Caliber. Wall makes one. Andis has their Pro Foil, but the Caliber RPG, hands down, is the best foil shaver in the industry. Then I take them down with my brick shaver. That's that foil shaver. It looks like a little chunk. I take them down with that. At this point, if he's the old man on Coumadin, he's gone. Check it out, guys. This is my Caliber Pro Foil. This is what I'm talking about, if you guys aren't familiar with it. I take him down with this. At this point, if he's the old man on Coumadin, he's done. I might steam towel him off. and aftershave, moisturizer, and send him on his way. That's the whole thing, because I'm not going near that man with a blade. 10% off Caliber code Burke. Chris Burke, that's his Caliber code. Guys, use it. That's awesome. Scott, thank you for sharing. This is the best foil shaver out there from Caliber. All right, Caliber, you're welcome. All right, you owe me a cheeseburger. All right, now, I took him down with a clipper, a trimmer, and a foil. I got him down. He's practically smooth. Look how easy this is going to be. Shaving's going to be beautiful. Shaving's going to be wonderful. Shaving's going to be easy. Next up, lather him up. Go to your hot lather. Remember, I don't have a hot lather machine, and I'm not going to lather him. Go to your hot lather. I would use Barbasol to fake it, and Barbasol is as bad as hot lather. Remember, I love hot lather, and I hate hot lather. Hot lather is drying. Hot lather is miserable crap. But it's warm, and it feels good, and it smells a certain way, and it is part of the experience. Ivan will never tell you not to use hot lather, but Ivan will tell you you got to use more than hot lather. So I'm going to hot lather him up, and I'm going to apply that hot lather. And I'm going to use my fingers to apply hot lather because I'm feeling the skin. I'm reading the skin. Okay? I'm making sure I know what's going on there. How's his bone structure? Has he got a mole somewhere? What's that corner feel like on his jawline and his chin? I'm also acknowledging while I'm doing this growth pattern and direction. When I was clippering him down and I was coming up in the neckline, if the hair was growing up, I would have been clippering down. And I'm making a mental note then for when I do my shaving. I'm a perfect example of how tricky this can be. And I learned this for a while when I was double-edge razor shaving. What I learned was I can run over my face with a Gillette 5-blade razor, boom, 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 nothing. But when I went to a traditional double edge and a traditional handle, on this side of my face, down here, all that hair grows up. And on this side of my face down here, all that hair grows down. So what I was doing was I was shaving down, 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 like our pattern, and just like we're supposed to, in 5, 13, and 10, I was going up. I was going up in a forehand stroke from behind like this. I was going up with my double edge, and on this side, everything was fine, coming against with the growth direction. But on this side where my hair grew down, if I went up, oh, wow, I was styptic all over the place. I was popping up all kinds of bleeders and really aggravating my face. And I learned I cannot come all the way down on this side. I have to come down and up. And on this side, I could come all the way down. You really do need to be conscious of that growth pattern and direction. Yeah, okay. And by the way, if you guys are double-edge razor shavers, the Jatai double-edge blade, high stainless, the Jatai double-edge, if you're splitting them to put them in a double-edge handle, the Jatai double-edge blade is the world's #1 best blade. Go on the shaving forums, go on the shaving websites, and learn a little bit about what people are saying about those. The people that are like all into traditional double-edge wet shaving, they love that Jatai blade, and it's worth every penny of it. All right, we lather them up. After we've lathered them up, it's steam towel time. You remember how we folded it in thirds? Thirds again for sixths. We rolled it up, and we either have them in our steam towel cabinet or, can you tell us the name of the blades again? Mel, are you asking about the blades for the Artist Club razor for shaving, or are you talking about the double edge blades? Which blade are you asking about? We got our steam towel out of the cabinet or out of the sink. Regulate the temp. Towel goes on there. You can use a traditional wrapping method if you've got your towel folded in halves using this system to wrap it from above. Whatever wrapping method you use, that's up to you. I, in the shop, use the 1/3, 1/6 technique. When I'm doing it, I apply that steam towel for shaving simply like that over the area that's going to be shaved. I'm not wrapping it up and over the head. And by the way, keep in mind, this guy would be laid back in this position. He would not be standing up on a haircutting tripod like that. He'd be laid back like that. So the towel's on top of the shave lather. While it's doing that, I am finishing prepping my blade. I've got my blade and my razor. We're getting ready to shave. We've steam toweled. Now it's time to get ready to shave. Now we're going to apply product. And the key here is we are going to apply a shave product that we have available for purchase at the front of the store. This is more important than with haircutting, because your opportunity to sell, your opportunity to retail, your opportunity to do take-home business with shaving is exponentially higher than it ever was with haircutting. I will tell you, if you are doing shave services, in haircutting, we tell you 50% of your business should be take-home product. 30 to 50% of your business might be take-home product. In shaving, you should be going dollar for dollar. If somebody buys a $50 shave, they should buy $50 worth of product. If somebody buys a $20 shave, that's a $20 healthy luxury shave set. They should be taking this home after the shave. Because especially the guy that talks to you about, oh my God, what an incredible experience that was. When they start talking experientially, you want them to be able to replicate the experience at home. So I'm going to go to a shave product that I have available for purchase in the front of the store. And I'm going to tell them I'm using Jatai Healthy Luxury Shave Cream. It remains relatively clear. It's a non-foaming formula, so I can see your sideburns, I can see your jawline, I can work through it. I put it in my hand, I put it on his face, I put it on his beard. I'm shaving now. I'm going to shave now with a product that I have available for purchase. I cannot stress this enough, how important this is. I'm going to apply my lather. Now it's time to shave. Now, you've got your stroke pattern, and you've got your standard strokes. The point I want to make here is this. Yeah, that's your stroke pattern. I modify things a little bit in the real world. I'm going to come in, and I'm going to walk you through. I'm taking my blade out because I'm not really shaving, and I don't want to chew up the mannequin with a razor blade. Although it's a Pro Guard, it wouldn't do that. Can you tell? Okay, it's not a new question. Thumb positioned in the appropriate spot for tension. And things like the standard Milady textbook are really good resources for this stuff, because this traditional stuff has never really changed. One is a forehand stroke. Now I'm going to come in, and it might be multiple strokes, but normally, in almost every instance, I will cover both 1 and 2. 2 is traditionally supposed to be a backhand stroke across. I'm not telling you not to do that, but I'm telling you very often when I do 1, there's not much 2 left. Some of it will depend on skin tension, some of it will depend on the size of their face in that area, but very frequently I'll come in with 1, and I might come into 2. I'm reposition my thumb, wipe it on my towel if I need to, but I may come into 2, 2, 2, or, again, depending on facial shape and bone structure, I might come into 2 in that way like that with a backhand stroke. I get into 3, I'm going to put tension on the skin where I need to at the nose. I'm going to come into 3 with my forehand stroke. At this point, remember, we clippered, we trimmered, we foil shavered down. There's not a lot of material coming away. We're just essentially moving through. If that shave cream is clear and I can see through it, I don't need to pre-wipe it. But again, like when we did our neck shave conversation, if there's heavy shave cream there, I'm going to wipe the shave cream off. I'm going to put the shave cream on the towel. Then I'm going to come in and shave that area where the shave cream has done its job of soften the hair, lubricate the skin, prep the surface. And by the way, there isn't a whole lot of hair left anyways, because I got a lot of my work done ahead of time. I'm going to go into 4. 4 is a forehand stroke. And again, depending on the bone at the chin, depending on the hair growth direction, that's going to be forehand. And I would have that line over a little bit. I've got 14, 11, 12, and 13 a little bit wide here. Don't worry about it. These are these subtleties that really aren't going to make that much of a difference. I'm going to come in 4, 4, 4, 4. Now, I am a big believer in moving around the chair. I am not necessarily going to come across here, I might position myself at the other side. Now I'm walking me because of the camera. I would turn the client. I'll spin the chair to come in here and come in, and 7 again, much like 8. 7 is called to be traditionally a backhand stroke from this side, coming in like this. I seldom do that. I'm going to be much more effective and much more efficient turning the chair and coming into 7 here, 7 and 8, forehand, 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 forehand like that. And then coming in 9, 9, 9 like that. And I actually like to do 10 as a forehand stroke. 10 is called out to be reverse freehand, but I don't. Very frequently for 10, I will come in behind him, and again, his head would be laid out here. I will come in behind him, and I will do just a plain old forehand stroke right there in 10, bringing it right up that way. It's just much more easy and convenient for me. I'm much more comfortable. It's a break from textbook approach, but it works for me, and it works quickly, and it works easily. Okay, 11 is easy. 11 is forehand across the chin. 12 is the stroke beneath the chin, and again, 12 can be, 12's called out to be freehand. 12 can be simply freehand like that. 13, typically, I'm going to get 13, and again, guys, this is just how I adapt it. I'm going to get 13 when I get 10. 10, 10, 10, 13, 13, 13, 13, all the way across. And maybe even lapping over into the last little bit of 5 if I didn't get it all at that point. That's going to get me set through the bottom there. And lastly is the upper lip. I'm going to take 14 across like that. So some modifications from what's traditionally called out in the book. In getting your license practical exam, they expect a lady traditional way of shaving, or can you do like you were doing in a shave? I don't know the answer to that, Nicholas. Nicholas, I took my state board exam 33 years ago. I'm sure we have a teacher here who can address that question. The question is, in a state board exam, can you adapt like I am to do the job conveniently, to do it well, or must you follow the stroke pattern? Scott says you only have to demonstrate the first 5 strokes. Wow, that's easy. Okay, it's been a long time since I tested for this. I don't even remember. I'm pretty sure we had to do the whole thing and we had to know standard dictated patterns. But, all right, we've shaved. Now we're going to steam towel again. I'm going to go back to steam towel, and I'm going to use that to clean off the face, to wipe up any remaining shave cream, to really get a good look at things. Now, I'm going to relather. I'm going to steam towel him off, and I'm going to relather. And I want to make sure you understand that this relather is about more than lathering. Okay, now we're getting all the answers here on the questions about these. Love that trick for the overlap to 5. Yep, absolutely. Just come right across to 5. Relather. When we relather, and by the way, guys, we're going to run a little overtime this morning. I hope that's okay for everybody. I hope nobody has an issue with that. I hope nobody has a problem if we run a little long. But this is just such a cool class to share and such fun stuff, and so I dig it. So I'm going to relather, and please know when I relather now, I'm doing more than putting lather on the face. I'm also feeling. I'm feeling for stubble. I'm feeling for anywhere that I missed. I'm specifically conscious of areas that either I know traditionally I struggle with, and sometimes that's here in the corners of the chin. Sometimes that might be up underneath the nose at the center. Sometimes it might be right here in the lower corners of the lip. I'm so careful in this area to make sure I get it well that sometimes if my razor lifts a little, I'll have a couple of fuzzy spots. And by the way, those fuzzy spots are spots he can feel with his tongue, with his mouth like that, and you want to make sure, I'm like a stickler for those. So I'm always careful in the corners of the mouth, upper and lower, corners of the chin. Corners, that's where we tend to have issues. Sometimes if he's got a strong jaw corner. But I'm relathering to check that. And I will go back over with my razor to touch those up. I'm not going to fully reshave him. If it's a 2-pass close shave, that's a different conversation. But I'm really going to go in and just chase down anything I felt during the second lathering that was a little bit of an issue. I felt that there. I'm going to go after that. I'll check. I'll come in. Boom, boom. If I have to go to the other side, I'll come in. I'll pull up my tension. Boom, boom. I'll grab that. Anywhere I notice anything that feels, anything I've missed. And clients like this because they know this is you being sure and being careful. After my second lather and my touch-up shave, I go back to a towel again. Steam towel sometimes, depending, time of year, the weather, things like that. Sometimes a cool towel. Apply that. Wipe off anything remaining, clean them up real good, and then we go to our aftercare product. In the Jatai Healthy Luxury Shave Set, it's the Aftershave Moisture. We go to aftercare. We work that in, we work that through, we apply that product completely for the aftercare. And we talk about what we're doing and what we're using as we're doing that. So we go to the after product. Now we got 3 more big steps. These 3 steps are retailing. When we get him up front, once we've tipped the chair up, bare hands. Nicholas, bare hands. I couldn't shave somebody with gloves. Anybody out there do shaves with gloves? I just can't do it. I'm going barehanded. Talking and showing the product. Yes, this is where we get him sit him up in English. Sit him up. Get him up front. We're going to retail. This is what we used on you today. This is the Jatai Healthy Luxury Shave Set. These are the products that we used as part of your shave experience. To replicate this at home, TSA friendly, travel sizes, awesome product. They're $20 each. Is one enough? You want one for the house and one for your travel kit? He takes 2 of these home. 2 of these, which is awesome. Retailing, rebooking. We're going to go there. Hey, you enjoy that? You want to do that again next week? Let's get you in the appointment book for next week. Let's do this again. Some people, they do this just before they get married as a special treat. It's a big deal for wedding party groups and stuff like that with guys. Bachelor party experiences. I love it. However, for some people, it can be a regular thing. Retailing, rebooking, and lastly, referral. Hey, dude, if you really enjoyed this experience, I'm going to ask you to do me a favor. Give out a couple of cards. Pass a couple of cards to your friends. Talk me up. Tell them about this experience. Tell them about how much you enjoyed it. Tell them about how wonderful it was. And tell them to come see me. All right? Because we're building and growing business. All right? That's it. Retailing, rebooking, and referral. R. It's the 3 R's of success. After you get through the client, number 1 thing is to do the rebooking. Absolutely. Retail, rebook, and referral. Those are the R's of success in our business. Those of you that have been hanging with Ivan long enough, I used to teach a program called Barber Like a Pirate. Barber Like a Pirate. It got that name from R. Everything we did was R. Rebooking, retailing, and referral. All right, guys, Q&A. We ran through a lot here. Show razors again if possible. Michael, that is the Feather Artist Club Wood Handle SS Series razor. I've got a Pro Guard blade in there. Let's take a look at the blades. I'll run you guys through the blades again. Standard blade. Where's standard blade? Standard blade. That is your standard blade, just like the name says. Many of you, that'll be the razor you use for the majority of what you do. Do you have 2 different prices like when you do a 2-step shave with and against? I typically haven't had a separate price for a second pass close shave. I have not done that. I don't do a lot of second pass close. I don't get as much call for it, but occasionally when you're going to get somebody that has that thicker, coarser beard where you need to do that, I've done it, but I know I have not had a second price for it. Super. That is our thicker, stronger, heavier blade, coarser, thicker hair. Light, as the name implies, lightweight, thin and fine for lighter hair texture, smoother shaving there. And then Pro Guard and Soft Guard. Pro Guard and Soft Guard is the standard blade guarded and essentially the fine blade in a guarded fashion. Those are the 5 blades from Jatai for the Artist Club DX and SS I think it's DX and SS. I don't use the other one. The other one has a different head profile to it. And for people that have traditionally come from standard hone and strop razor shaving, the feather razor that has the flat face to it, they really like that. It's a wonderful tool. But for somebody who uses a guarded blade, I think the Artist Club, the SS style, is the preferred handle design in that category. What do we got here? We got, same with blood thinners. If anyone runs into a man with an LVAD, left ventricular assisted device, is battery operated, motor connected to the heart. No close shaves for them either. No shaves at all for them. I'm gonna hit them with a foil and send them packing. Absolutely, I don't even want to go anywhere near that customer. Absolutely. All right, Donna, you're very welcome. Thank you. Any other questions or comments from anybody here? We ran a little over what we typically do. It's 3 or 4 minutes after the hour, which is not a bad thing. We're just sharing a ton of information. Don't forget, Jatai Academy. Go online, jatai.net. Sign up on the web for Jatai Academy. They're giving you education every single day. The Jatai coupon code is a download off of my Instagram profile or my Twitter profile or anywhere else that link exists. If you can't find it, send me a message. I will be very happy to send you that personally directly if necessary, so that you can have the information that you need in that regard. Other question. Older gentleman takes blood thinner, med specific request razor shave, knowing the risk. What would you do? I would say no, David. I mentioned that earlier. It's in my consultations. It's in my questions. Are you on a blood thinning regimen? Do you take a product like Coumadin? Do you take an aspirin regimen? The answer is no, you don't get shaved. I'll clipper you down, I'll trimmer you down, and I'll box shaver you down, and I will use steam towels, and I will use a skin moisturizer, and I will use an aftershave, and I will create a wonderful experience for you. But I ain't touching you with a blade. Just no way. I mean, some of these old men, and one of the things I do a lot of, and it's kind of an odd phenomenon, and this is where, and Scott Sales, are you still here, Scott? I'm going to talk about this, and I know Scott knows exactly. Scott's a friend of mine, and I know Scott knows exactly what I'm talking about when I talk about this. Scott says I offer a service that does not use a blade. Scott, I know you're with me on this, homie. You get guys, it's not uncommon in our shop that a 40 or 50 something or even a 60-year-old man will bring into the barber shop a much older gentleman, his dad or his grandpa. They'll bring him in for a haircut and a shave. And this old man might have a cane. This old man might have a walker. This old man might be in a wheelchair. And they bring this guy into the barber shop for a haircut and a shave. And very quickly, they tell you that the reason they're coming in for a haircut and a shave is because they are on their way home from the hospital, or they are on their way home from a stay in an extended care or nursing facility of some kind. And dad needs to get cleaned up, and he really needs to feel better, and we're coming here. And guys, I mean, this touches your heart. This is why we're in the business. Because this man brings in his daddy or his grandpa and asks you to take care of him. And that's what we're really here to do. We're really here to take care of these people. And you know what? I'm not going to do it with a razor. But I'm going to do it with care, love, and attention. I'm going to do it in a meaningful way. And, we joke around sometimes in the shop about the fact that this may be the last time this guy comes in the barber shop. And we're going to do what we can. And we're going to do what we have to. And we're going to do this in a very meaningful way. And this is where this business, guys, is just not about the money at all. It's about taking care of people. And it's about what that means and how valuable that can be. So when those guys come in, they get the whole 9 yards, even if they don't get the blade. All right, guys. Other questions or comments? Anything anybody's got before we wrap this up? Yeah, Scott, I know you know. All right, 11 o'clock, saving systems for haircutting professionals. We're going to talk about that. We'll be back in a little less than an hour. Y'all have a great day. Bye-bye.